So I realize we kind of left the Z-Cam series short. I still wanted to do a video on color grading the Z-Cam footage, as well as some final thoughts on what I think about the Z-Cam, if I was going to buy it or not. But you might have seen, if you follow me on social media, or even in my last video, I referenced that I didn't bring the Z-Cam on the shoot. But when I had the Z-Cam in the other videos, I had it because I rented it and was determining if I wanted to buy it. Well, that rental is long gone. This is my Z-Cam. I did end up buying it. So in this video, I have to go up in Dallas and we're doing a shoot with NISSAN. I'm bringing the Z-Cam along with me, and we'll talk about why I ended up getting the Z-Cam, what I like about it, things that I don't like about it. But I got to get packed for this shoot really quickly and then hit the road. All right, guys, so all packed, ready to go, heading out. Got the address in. It's gonna be about a 40-minute drive to get to the location, but should be a good one. For a little bit more reference, if you didn't see the other two Z-Cam videos, I've been looking for an upgrade, a more cinematic camera. I've had the EOS R for a couple of years now, basically since it came out. Been looking for an upgrade. I bought the Blackmagic Pocket 4K as sort of a stopgap and just to test out color grading the raw footage from the Blackmagic. I really like the Blackmagic. I like the image that comes from it. I like color grading that B-raw footage, and of course it shoots ProRes 422 and it's got a good look to it. My biggest problem with the Blackmagic was the form factor. For the kind of shoots that I do, especially in cars, with cars, it's nice to have a small cube form factor, something that you can build up. Also, being able to throw it on a gimbal, even though I don't do a lot of gimbal shooting, I thought would help at least. So you might have seen those videos. Anyways, so I was looking at a lot of different cameras, trying to figure out what I was gonna get, and waited till Blackmagic's announcement where they announced the Pocket 6K Pro. Not what I was looking for, so ended up pulling the trigger on the Z-Cam. But before I did that, I downloaded some footage from my buddy Joe from Driven Films, did some color grading on them, made sure that I liked the raw footage. Then I rented the camera from Lens Rentals, had it for a week, did a lot of shoots with it just to get familiar with it. Liked it so much that I actually purchased it before I sent the rental back. I purchased one from B&H, got it in the mail a couple of days after I sent the rental back, and been happy with it ever since. So we're shooting with it today. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I like about this camera and how I've been using it and things like that. So stay tuned. We just got a little bit of a drive ahead of us, and then I'll be able to talk to you guys some more. All right, easy enough. We're all here. Got to get the gear out and get in there to shoot. I'll try to do a little bit of behind the scenes. Don't know how much I'll be able to do, but got to shoot. right, so I would call that a successful shoot. Spent some time, about 2 hours, shooting the vehicles that you saw in there. Drove another vehicle just for the fun of it. But headed back to the house, gotta wrap up a few other things and pick up the kids from school and all of that. So busy, busy, busy. All right, guys, so let's get to the meat of this video. Let's talk about the Z-Cam, why I bought it, why I thought this would be the good option for what I do, and yeah, how I've been enjoying it through the past month or so of owning it and shooting with it. So first off, why I bought it is basically the form factor and price combination with what the sensor and everything gives you. So it's a 6K 35mm sensor. It can shoot RAW, it can shoot ProRes, it can shoot 4K, it can shoot up to 100 frames per second. So there's a lot of options there. I do like that I can use my older iPhone as a monitor for the camera, so I didn't have to invest in a monitor as well. I probably will invest in a monitor eventually because for one, I mean, you can hook it up wirelessly, which it works perfectly that way. I have it hooked up with the USB Type-C port right now, but if I'm recording to the SSD, I need that USB Type-C port. But again, it still hooks up wirelessly fine, but I think if I get a nice big monitor, it'll just help out a little bit. Form factor is a big deal for me because I use this in a lot of different situations. I'll have it mounted in a vehicle pointing at me with a couple of clamps on it. I'll have it rigged up on a tripod. Do handheld stuff a lot like today. So there's a lot of different situations, and the form factor is an easy way to jump between those situations. The Blackmagic is just too wide. That form factor just doesn't do it for me. The DSLRs are decent, not as big as the Blackmagic, but still not a great form factor. Plus, you don't get the dynamic range in something like the EOS R, which I'm filming on right now. This has better dynamic range, obviously, and with that RAW and Z-Log footage, you get a ton of dynamic range. So the form factor did it a lot for me. It is a heavier camera than you might expect. It's all metal, and when you get the cage on it and everything, it is a heavy thing, so that's good for handheld, but rigging it up on a car, not always the best. So far, I've been really enjoying the footage coming out of this camera. I did have issues with nailing focus sometimes, nailing exposure sometimes, just learning the camera. Most of those shots were done with the rental. I've been doing a lot better since I've had this one. You guys can judge from what you saw today, even though that was horrible lighting situation. Just a side rant, it's always manufacturers, when they have indoor things, they have some of the worst lighting you can have to shoot a vehicle. The interiors were nearly impossible to shoot because I didn't bring my own light. My fault, but yeah, they always have some of the most horrendous lighting to get really good shots of vehicles. But I hope that footage did turn out pretty good. Again, you guys let me know. Color grading and dealing with the 6K footage was another thing that I was always a little bit concerned about. One of the really cool things that this does that I love is record proxies next to the original file, so you don't have to import it, then create proxies, and then start editing. You got those proxies ready to go. So editing has been pretty good, a breeze. I can edit these 6K files with a proxy much easier than I can edit a H.265 file from a GoPro. I've got a couple of different battery solutions for it, but I'm happy with this. I've gotten a couple of new lenses. So this is the Rokinon 16mm. I needed a nice wide lens so that whenever I do mount it in the car, you can see a good portion of the vehicle. Or if you're hand holding it, trying to get some interior shots, it's definitely helps to have that wide angle. I have a couple of other lenses that I was using with it, and I had some issues with those. I did post it on the Facebook group for Z-Cam, and basically the Z-Cam power to the lens isn't made to handle stuff like, it handles the focus okay, but stuff like lens stabilization, it doesn't handle well. But I found even turning the lens stabilization off, it would do some weird things. So I would have it in manual focus and I would have the stabilization off, but it would still be hunting focus like I had it in autofocus. It was really weird. So some of the lenses I have, I can't really use on it, but this one has been working out well. I have the 18-35 Sigma, the standard go-to lens. That one works fine on it. It is a super 35mm sensor. I don't mind that as much. I would love to have the full frame. I just didn't want to invest that much into this right now. But obviously if I had that full frame, it would be even easier to get a wide angle. And that's really important to some of the stuff that I do. So I don't mind the super 35. Most of the shots you can get, they turn out just fine. You can back up far enough or get close enough. But for interior shots and mounting it inside a vehicle, that full frame with the 16mm would be probably a lot better. My only other slight gripe is this top handle. Bolting it on, whenever I mount this inside the car, I have to take the top handle off so that it mounts easier and it reduces weight. Take off the monitor and this little monitor mount, and then you can monitor it wirelessly, which is good. The side handle is easy to take off, but this top handle's not. So I might get one of those NATO rails and a top handle that can just slide into it. That would help out. But yeah, again, I bought this camera after renting it and using it for a week, after downloading footage and testing it out. It wasn't a rash decision like me buying the Pocket 4K was. So I'm really happy with the purchase, happy with all the footage that I've gotten from this thing. There are obviously things that I would change or update about it in another generation, but for what it is and what I'm doing, this works really well for me. All right guys, so I'm pretty sure that's everything that I had to say. Had some notes that I was going to make sure that I got everything out that I needed to say. If you've got any other questions, again, I do own it, so if you got some tests or any other questions, I can always jump on and try to get those answered. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the Z-Cam. Let me know if there's anything I can improve there, and your thoughts on my buying decision. But with that, I'm basically done for the day, so I hope you guys did enjoy. See you next time. Bye.